In a world often filled with headlines of division and noise, every so often, there comes a moment that cuts through all of it. A moment of shared grief that reminds us of our common humanity. This past week, one such moment arrived, not just for Austria, but for the world. And for King Charles III, it struck deep. Today, we turn our attention to a somber development, one that brought a rare and heartfelt statement from the British monarch, issued not out of duty, but from something far more personal, sorrow. But before we go further, if you appreciate thoughtful reporting on the monarchy's role in moments like these, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Your support allows us to continue telling these stories that matter. Now, to the heart of this difficult story. On Thursday, Buckingham Palace released an official statement that stood out not just for its tone, but for its emotional clarity. It wasn't one of the usual updates about engagements or ceremonial duties. It was something else entirely. A deeply personal message, directly from King Charles himself, written in response to a devastating event that had unfolded in the Austrian city of Graz. An attack. A school. Lives lost. Futures erased. And a community shattered. King Charles, in words that echoed with genuine pain, spoke not only as sovereign, but as a father, a grandfather, and a human being shaken by tragedy. The message began, "My wife and I were deeply shocked and saddened to learn about the appallingly tragic events at the Dr. Schützengasse school in Graz." That sentence may seem brief, but it carries the full weight of grief, disbelief, and horror. The use of deeply shocked and saddened goes beyond formality. It reveals the emotional impact this tragedy had on both the King and Queen Camilla. These weren't distant condolences. They were raw, immediate, and very human. But what exactly happened that prompted such a rare and emotional statement from the palace? Here's where the story takes a haunting turn. According to Austrian authorities, what unfolded at that school was nothing short of a nightmare. A teacher and 9 students lost their lives in a horrifying shooting. The young victims were between the ages of 14 and 17, children on the cusp of adulthood. Lives full of promise and dreams, cut short in the most brutal way imaginable. Among the victims were 6 girls and 3 boys. These weren't just statistics. They were classmates, friends, sons and daughters. And standing alongside them, a teacher, someone who had dedicated their life to guiding others, was also taken. The violence spared no one. In addition to the fatalities, 11 others were injured. 11 more families now coping with the trauma, the fear, and the uncertainty of recovery. Physical wounds may heal. Emotional ones will linger much longer. And the gunman? A 21-year-old former student of the school. He reportedly returned to the building he had once attended, armed with both a handgun and a shotgun. He opened fire, then retreated into a school restroom, where he ended his own life. Officials later revealed he had left behind a farewell note, and even recorded a video message for his parents. It was a grim, chilling insight into the mental state of someone who had chosen to bring devastation to a place meant for learning and growth. But King Charles chose to focus his words not on the attacker, but on those left behind. On the victims. On the families. On a nation in mourning. He continued, "Our most heartfelt thoughts and prayers are with the families of all those affected by this terrible loss of life and injury. We send our deepest sympathy to all Austrians at this profoundly distressing time." That phrase, "most heartfelt thoughts and prayers," is often repeated in moments of tragedy. But here, it feels especially sincere. Because it comes from someone who understands, at the highest level, the gravity of loss. King Charles has lived through personal heartbreak. He knows the sting of public mourning. And this time, it wasn't just about a foreign nation, it was about something more universal. The violation of a sacred space, a school. In his message, the king wrote that schools should be places of sanctuary and learning. It's a sentiment shared by parents and teachers the world over. A belief that classrooms are safe havens, where young minds are shaped, not shattered. Where education is nurtured, not attacked. And that's what made this tragedy so especially painful. A school isn't just a building. It's a symbol. A cornerstone of society. When violence enters a school, it doesn't just affect one town or one country, it strikes a nerve across the globe. It challenges our sense of safety. It breaks a collective promise that children are to be protected. King Charles's message, though brief, acknowledged this truth. It reached across borders. It extended a hand to Austria, and by extension, to any country that has endured the same kind of heartbreak. But what came next added another layer to the message. The fact that this statement was made jointly by both the King and Queen Camilla, my wife and I, is no small detail. In moments of national or international tragedy, joint messages are significant. They represent a united front, a shared sense of grief. And here, they underscore the sincerity of the sentiment. This wasn't just a monarch performing a duty. This was a couple mourning with those who mourn. And while Buckingham Palace is rarely quick to respond to international events not directly involving British interests, this one was different. The palace acted swiftly. The statement was clear, human, and heartfelt. And in doing so, the monarchy reminded us of one of its quiet, but important roles: to be a voice of compassion when words are hard to find. It's worth noting, too, that while King Charles's primary responsibilities lie within the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, his role as head of state includes a moral obligation to speak when humanity is shaken. This was one of those moments. And his words echoed far beyond London. To our viewers, many of whom may remember other tragedies, other times of shared mourning, this story hits differently. For those who lived through difficult eras, wartime childhoods, global conflicts, or even the painful school tragedies of recent years, the King's words strike a familiar and painful chord. The message is simple, but profound: violence has no place in a school. And grief, though personal, is also a collective experience. As this story continues to unfold, there will be investigations. There will be policy debates. There will be questions. But amidst the noise, King Charles's message offers something else: a moment of stillness. A pause. An acknowledgement that this pain is real. That it matters. And in the face of overwhelming darkness, such moments, however brief, offer something rare: dignity. In closing, this tragedy in Graz is a stark reminder of how fragile peace can be. It reminds us of the importance of community, of vigilance, and of empathy. The King's response, though simple, carries the weight of shared humanity, and the hope that from sorrow, we may somehow find the resolve to protect what matters most. What are your thoughts on King Charles's message, and on the broader implications of this heartbreaking event? Do you believe such statements from world leaders truly help communities heal? Or are they symbolic gestures, meant simply to acknowledge pain? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, we ask for kindness and respect in your responses. These are difficult topics, but they are also essential ones. Thank you for being with us for this important update. If this story moved you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss future updates from the world of the British royal family. Until next time, stay safe, hold your loved ones close, and let us all be a little gentler with one another.